Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. Last week we left off by placing the plate layer pub in place. But we've still got a large gap behind the coaling station, and we're going to fill that now with the new water tower. So there we go, that is the water tower now in place. I've added some comical elements with the man floating around with his ducks in the top there. And next I'm going to look at some minor amendments I need to make to the plate layer pub. So a quick amendment with the plate layer pub. I've used regular plates on top of the signage. I'm going to just receive some tiles for these instead, so I'm going to change these out, and it's just going to stop them. It'll make this front one look better, but it will stop this one over here from actually connecting onto the base of the building part that goes on top as well. So I'm going to change those over now, and that should solve any issues that I've got with them. There we go. Now these nice smooth tiles are going to mean I have a much easier time placing the top of the building on. There we go. I think that this now looks a lot cleaner as well. I've used a 2x4 with 2 jumper studs on it as well, so I can still keep the cat here. And I think I might just quickly grab a small bird, but I want it to contrast that white cat, so I'll use a red one that I have, I think. I'll just grab that one from a tree. And there we go. Unsuspecting bird, and that cat's having a little bit of an eyeing up of it. Next up, I've got the road plate which sits in front of the pub, and I'm deciding I'm going to tile all of this to kind of make it look a little bit nicer. I don't know if I'll be able to get all of these edges with the parts that I have, but I've got a good assortment of dark bluish grey tiles. I'll see how far I can get with it and kind of go from there. I also do want to include this kind of fountain statue I made quite a long time ago using an old Harry Potter minifig, and I put a chicken on its head because I thought it was funny. But I figured that would actually make a nice little piece just to sit on the road as well and fill a little bit of space. Maybe if I put a couple of benches around it as well, it'll kind of give a bit more of a township vibe rather than just here's a big expansive grey. So I'm going to put that in place and we'll see how it looks. And there we go, I've got all of the paving down and a few studs to be able to put some people on as well. I think it's just now there's a lot more kind of detail and interest as to what's going on, and a little bit more kind of storytelling as well, with the mother and her daughter there at the back, and the postman going off to the letterbox as well. Really pleased with it, and I think that's going to look good, so I'm going to get that in place now, and we'll take a look at what the scene looks like. So now I've got everything in place, and I'm really pleased with how it looks. The paving is just really good, kind of ties everything together with the modular building, and there's a lot more kind of going on. It seems a lot busier than what it was, so it doesn't feel as empty as what we had going before. And I'm really pleased with how the pub's now got that tile effect on top rather than all the exposed studs, and I think that makes it look a lot cleaner. But I'm glad we didn't lose the storytelling with the cat being up on there as well. So I think next what I'd like to try and address is I need to add some more greenery and other details around the water tower and around the coaling station. I'm actually considering moving the steps for the coaling station onto the opposite side, as I think it makes more sense with the way that it's going to be accessed, so I might pop that off and swap it round. And I'm also thinking of moving some of these fences now that there's a bigger gap here, and creating more space in the garden area, and just kind of expand that out a little bit as well. So I'm going to start addressing that, and we'll see how it looks in a little bit. So there we go, the paths have been added and they're starting to fill in more of that green area. And also there are some more bushes and trees around the water tower to help fill in that blank green space as well. I've brought the path all the way down to the gate where the main path is actually in place for the signal box. And coming over to the allotments area, you can see that I've pushed those fences further forwards, created a new path and added new veg patches in place as well. And again, I think this is just kind of filling in that space and meaning that we don't have massive blank spaces left over. It just adds a lot more detail to the scene. Another area that I've been working on currently as well is updating some of the minifigures that were crewing the locomotives I have. So these two were originally sat on my 2251 class, crewing that, but they are now having their hats replaced with these rather fetching flat caps, and they're actually going to be placed onto the dock where they're going to be moving freight around the yard instead. And here they are both with their flat caps on and they're ready to go into the yard. Next up is the replacement crew for 2251, and you can see I have a driver and a fireman here. I've taken one of the station master figures and I've used a little bit of IPA to remove the logo and the pen and ticket from his pocket, so that they've just got a very smart kind of boiler suit on, which I think is more traditional for a steam locomotive crew, and then equip them with some flat caps and they are ready to crew the 2251. Lastly, to crew my 5700 class, I've got these modern figures which have got the blue overalls, and I've simply given them a flat cap each, found a couple of heads that work with the kind of happy look that I want for them, and then these guys are now ready to hang out of the doors of the 5700 class whilst it's shunting. That's it for this week. Thank you everybody for joining me as I add more details into the layout. I've got to wait on a couple of Bricklink orders and some Lego orders to arrive before we can do the next bit. So next week's video might be something a little bit different. I might go over building some of the 5-plank wagons rather than having an update for the display. But yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and I'll see you next week. Bye!